Dear students, welcome to iLibros EduSoft. In this video, I am taking continuation of 8th Standard Civics textbooks 5th chapter Judiciary. Let's continue with the topic. Common person access to courts is access to justice. So, each and every citizen of India must have the right to approach court if any laws which are already implemented affects their privacy or any rights of the individuals. So, courts exercise a crucial role in interpreting the fundamental rights of the citizen. Court checks whether each and every laws of the country is accessible for all the citizens of India or whether it affects the rights and privacy of the individuals, etc. Court exercise a crucial role in interpreting the fundamental rights of the citizens. In midday meal, courts interpreted Article 21 of the Constitution on the right to life to include right to food. So, the right to food also comes under right to life of Article 21. The midday meal comes under right to food and which is under the right to life. That is the reason why Supreme Court has started the introduction of, that is the reason why the Supreme Court introduced the midday meal in government schools and government offices, etc. However, there are also court judgments that people believe work against the best interest of the common person. Even if the judiciary see whether each and every laws protects the right of the citizens, there are even several other laws which affects the freedom, privacy, equality, etc. of the individuals of the country. For example, activists who work on issues concerning the right to shelter and housing for the poor believe that the recent judgments on evictions are a far cry from earlier judgments. So, there are certain events or the certain laws which implemented in some places of the country which affects the individual freedom on right to shelter, right to housing, etc. for the poor. While recent judgments tend to view the slum dweller as an encroacher in the city, earlier judgments like the 1985 Olga Telles vs. Mumbai Municipal Corporation had tried to protect the livelihoods of the slum dwellers. So, we have a very famous example or the famous case, that is Olga Telles vs. Bombay Municipal Corporation, which tried to protect the freedom of the slum dwellers. It happened in 1985. Let's see what is that. Next, I am going to explain about the Olga Telles vs. Mumbai Municipal Corporation. The judgment of the Olga Telles vs. Mumbai Municipal Corporation was the following. This established the right to livelihood as part of the right to life. So, the result of this case was the right to livelihood came under the right to life. It protects the freedom of life of slum dwellers also. The sweep of the right to life conferred by Article 21 is wide and far reaching. Here, life means something which is more than mere animal existence. That is, right to livelihood is the most important freedom each and every citizen of the country must have. It does not mean merely that life cannot be extinguished or taken away as, for example, by the imposition and execution of the death sentence except according to procedure established by the law. So, implementation of any kind of law or right to any citizen of the country, there must be a review by the court or the judicial system. It must not affect the livelihood of any individuals in the country. No person can live without the means of living, that is the means of livelihood. So, no one can live in the country without any household or without any livelihood. Also, the eviction of a person from a payment or slum will affect the livelihood of the individual. This case prohibited this kind of activities against the slum dwellers or the people living in the payment or the slums. Petitioners live in slums and on payments because they have small jobs to nurse in the city and for them there is nowhere else to live. So, the slum dwellers or these kind of people who does small jobs in the city for their livelihood lives in slums. So, any law which cannot affect the right of citizens or the right of slum dwellers cannot be implemented in the country. They chose a payment or a slum in the vicinity of their place or work, and to lose the payment or the slums is lose the job. The conclusion was eviction of the petitioners will lead to deprivation of their livelihood and consequently to the deprivation of life. So the conclusion of this case was eviction of people or the slum dwellers living in payments or slums will affect the livelihood and consequently will affect the life and personal matters of these individuals. Some other problems faced by different individuals or the citizens in the country are: common persons' access to justice is the inordinately long number of years that courts take to hear a case. Some cases in the country takes long years for getting a conclusion. This is a major problem citizens face in the judicial system. There is a very famous phrase that is justice delayed is justice denied, which is often used to characterize the extended time period that courts take. So, justice delayed is justice denied. Denial of justice for any citizen is similar to that of delaying the justice. So students, I'll wind up this video here. The remaining portion of the chapter will be taken on the upcoming videos. If you have any doubts, please contact to this email ID. Thank you.